Hey team, Mr. Duggan here with another epi. We're going over weather 14, cloud formation. All right. Most of the time to find clouds, we need to look up. Do you ever wonder how or why they form? Let's look at the steps. First thing we need is for warm air, because it's less dense, it's going to rise. And as the altitude increases, the air pressure is going to decrease. So as you're going higher up into the air, there's less air pushing down on you. So there's less pressure. Less pressure allows this air to expand. So that warm air that's rising is now expanding. As the air expands, that air is going to cool to the dew point. Once the air cools to the dew point, that water vapor condenses into what we call the cloud. So the summary for cloud formation is warm air rises, expands, cools, and condenses. Not too bad. Cooling by expansion is known as adiabatic cooling. Adiabatic cooling. That's the phrase when something's cooling because it expanded. So, in your own words, explain how clouds form. You could write this whole thing, but the easiest way I like is the warm air rises, expands, cools, and condenses. All right. Again, also known as adiabatic cooling, but I personally just like this way. I'm going to paste it. And I'm going to make it a pretty color because it's warm. Let's go with pink. Yep. All right. So test it out. So this is something you can only do at home if you have the stuff. If you don't have the stuff, I'm going to do it with you right now. It's called making a cloud in a bottle. So what you need is a nice bottle like this. And what you're going to do is you're going to fill it up the bottom just with a little bit of water. And you're also going to need a match. So you're going to take the match, light it in the bottle, cap on, and then squeeze and release repeatedly, like you do in CPR. 1, 2, 3, 4, 1, 2, 3, 4, 1, 2, 3, 4. And now you might notice something. What's happening to my face? When I squeeze, it's fine, but when I release, boom, cloud. So what's happening to the pressure when I release? You get a cloud. So this is something cool if you have some younger siblings, you want to show them how to make a cloud in a bottle. Just make sure it's okay for you to get some matches from your parents. All right. So again, a little bit of water in the bottle. Make sure you get that cap on quick, and you're going to have to squeeze it repeatedly a couple of times before you get it going. All right. So do you see a cloud when you squeeze or release the bottle? Release, because when we release the bottle, we're releasing the pressure, we're lowering the pressure, and it is cooling by expansion. So 3 ways in which clouds form. It happens at weather fronts when the warm air is forced up. It happens at low pressure belts when warm air rises. It also happens on the windward side of a mountain. So if you have mountains along the coast and the air is coming up, it's bringing that moist, warm air, and it's being forced up the mountain. And because that air is forced up, it's going to expand, cool, condense. So if you know, like Seattle Seahawks, the football team, they're on the windward side of the mountain, so they get a lot of rain. If you watch the movie Holes with Shia LaBeouf, he was on the leeward side of the mountain, which was very hot and very dry. So why do clouds form at cold fronts? Because, here we go, warm air rises, expands, cools, and condenses. Why do clouds form at the equator? Warm air rises, expands, cools, condenses. Why do clouds form on the windward side of the mountain? Because, again, that air is forced up, expands, cools, and condenses. At a cold boundary, windward side of a mountain and the equator, is it wet or dry? At these regions, it is wet because of all those clouds. All right, I hope this was helpful. I hope this was fun. Be safe and be well.